I think there's so much of, you know, we're an improved team from last year in that regard. Is that we, you know, every time you get in these type of battles, and even when things don't go your way, you know, we find a way to overcome it. And you know, it's why we have the guys that we have, why we built the team that we've got, and the lessons that have been learned from last year, you know, and make you stronger, make you better. And so, man, our guys they're a resilient group, and they won't go away. And you know, you feel like 3 timeouts in 2 minutes, you can make anything happen, and our guys just kept battling. Defensively did an outstanding job, you know, that second half to come out and, you know, interception, punt, interception, 3 punts, and then force a missed field goal. 2 takeaways, you know, Carlton Davis came up huge. Those guys were outstanding. You know, offensively, it was really about the fourth quarter. You know, after the interception, then, you know, we finished that game with points, touchdown, and 2 field goals. And our guys showed up, man. St. Brown showed up when we needed him. Gibbs showed up. Goff showed up. Dave Montgomery, Sewell, Frank, you know, our guys showed up. And certainly Bates. You know, Bates was big. And that whole operation, Hogan, Fox, Holden, you know, I think that you forget that. You know, it's like Hogan's a rookie too. Those are 2 big, those are big plays. You know, I thought Vaki was really good on the units, special team units. Talked about Frank had a big game for us, man. He played really well again. So total team effort once again. And every time you figure out, you know, how to win in that adverse environment, conditions, you get better and you learn from it. And we just continue to harden ourselves and we just go, man. And I feel like we're gaining momentum going uphill, because that's where we're at. We're in November, and the teams that can begin to gain momentum going uphill are the ones that are dangerous. And I feel like that's where we're at. And I just want to. And I heard him in the fourth, you know, and I try not to pay attention to any of that, but it was noticeable with their offense out there, and the false start was critical. That was forced, so can't say enough good things about our guys, our fans. So, questions?
When you say some of the lessons learned from last year, I'm sure it's not just one game, but when you think about that San Francisco game, is that part of it, of flipping the script? And that was kind of the opposite. You guys were in charge there, and then the second half, things didn't go your way. This time it was the other way. You guys came back in the second half, made some corrections. Is that part of the learning you need to do to stay resilient?
I think that was a little bit of something we talked about yesterday at halftime, you know. And I know that, you know, Ben had mentioned that to the offense, like, this is San Francisco in reverse, you know, and it's what they were able to do and what they were able to overcome against us. We were able to do that here. And, you know, that's kind of one of those last lessons learned, to have the ability to overcome when, man, nothing's going your way. Now, our defense played well, and if they don't, we don't get back into that. But you're talking about 5 turnovers. I mean, the odds of winning a game like that are slim to none. And to be able to just hang in there and believe you still got a chance. You still have the ability. It's going to flip any minute. It's going to flip any minute. You know, when you get that belief and you get that type of production when you need it, you know, you are a dangerous team. You like that?
Your team feeds them. First and goal, Montgomery breaks a tackle, turning for the end zone, and a Lions touchdown. On first down, Jahmyr Gibbs with an opening, and Gibbs with great speed down the sideline. Jahmyr Gibbs, one man to beat. He'll beat him. Touchdown.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Main Event Football Show. As I, Main Event Mike, your host. Happy Veterans Day. That's why I'm wearing this ugly, boxy hat, because this is Salute to Service Day. Welcome to the Villain Squad Network and the Main Event Football Show. Today, we're going to talk briefly about the Detroit Lions' thrilling win at Houston to go to 8-1. We're also going to look ahead to the Jacksonville game. We're going to talk about a couple other topics, and we're going to involve you, the commenter, the watcher, the viewer, as you are, to put your comment in and join the conversation. But before we do that, we want to say hello, and we are broadcasting live into Facebook. The name of the page, Lions Villain Squad. Be sure to head over and follow our page. Also broadcasting live into Detroit Lions News Podcast. Special thanks to Joe Chapp and the boys for letting us broadcast on that Facebook page as well. We are also broadcasting live on YouTube at Villain Squad. That's our channel. And you can also catch us on JC Sports Network on YouTube as well. Also broadcasting live into Roku TV, the Huddle Sports Network. Welcome to the program, everyone. Main Event Mike here with you. 8-1, Victory Monday. Oh, that's right. We're brought to you by NFLShop.com. Don't forget about that. That's the people that make it all possible. You can hit that QR code, or producers throwing a link into the comments. You can click on that or scan the code and save 25%, up to 25% off when you leverage the power of the villain and use our link. There it is in the comments now. You can use that link or scan the code and save on, especially on one of those sweet black jerseys. It's the Main Event Football Show, Monday at 7 p.m., and we are back again, as we will be until the end of time. Lions beat the Texans 26-23 on a thrilling Jake Bates 52-yard field goal as time expired. He had previously hit a 58-yard field goal to tie the game. Texans thought they had the game in hand. A lot of the Lions haters thought the game was in hand for Houston as well. By the third quarter, the trash talk groups were full of people counting the Lions out and teasing them and throwing all kinds of jabs out there. But we kept all the receipts. And in the end, the Lions do prevail and win 8-1. And what a great victory. What another way to win for the Lions this year. They've blown teams out. They've won close games, overtime. But this one was kind of different. They came from a huge deficit down. You heard Dan Campbell at the beginning of the show in his presser likening this game to what the 49ers did to us last year in the title game. We come back, we were down 23-7 at halftime. Come back, win the game 26-23. The defense bailed us out in this one. I'd say the defense has definitely come leaps and bounds from last year. This team is better than the team that went to the NFC title last year. I don't think there's any question about that. And that's directly related to the defense and the way that they played. Carlton Davis with 2 interceptions. Brian Branch leading the team in tackles. Brian Branch playing at a Pro Bowl level, folks. If this kid keeps on going the way he is, there's no denying him a Pro Bowl bid this year, or dare I say even an all-pro bid for Brian Branch this year. And that'll just be another feather in the cap of our GM, Brad Holmes, who's assembled a historic 3-year draft record of drafting Pro Bowl players and hitting in the draft, especially in later rounds. Brian Branch coming, third round? Brian Branch a third rounder?
Second round.
Yeah, second rounder. Okay, he was second rounder. Still, he's hit pretty good. There, you know what? There was a 6th round guy named James Houston yesterday that had a sack in the game. He's just hitting all over the place. Kirby Joseph, however, was a 3rd rounder. He's looking at possibly a Pro Bowl season as well. This defense is the real story. I know Jake Bates is the field story. But the first game ball that Dan Campbell gave out last night after the game was to defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, and that's for a reason. Because he knows this defense is what kept us in this game. They didn't allow a single point in the second half, folks. Shut them right down on the road. This is a progression that we've seen for this Lions, some growth from this Lions team and the coaching staff. Last year, they didn't seem to make adjustments at halftime. They didn't seem to, make notable changes that impacted the outcome of the game. Last night, I think that was on full display. And I don't think that the Houston Texans had a counterpunch for it. And we're going to talk about all that tonight. We're also going to talk about, dare I say, the playoffs. Playoffs? Where's that Jim Mora drop? Playoffs?
That's
right. It. We're going to talk about the playoffs because we're 8-1, folks. And we still get to play the Bears twice. Okay? That's a potential 10 wins right there. We get Jacksonville next week. We're going to look ahead to that game. We're favored by 13. In fact, the Detroit Lions are currently favored in every game for the rest of the season. Doesn't mean that they'll win them all. Okay? But they are favored. And even if we don't go 16-1, the road to the Super Bowl is going to run through Detroit, barring some horrible injury, dare I say, barring some ridiculous collapse. Already with one loss, we are out in front of this playoff race. Minnesota only right behind us by one game, though. They won yesterday without scoring a touchdown. And we've been seeing that all year. Yeah, Lions win. But you know what? Green Bay won too. So did Minnesota. Every week, it seems like one of these teams is keeping pace with us. And that's something that we're going to talk about later on in this program. Right now, let's say hello to everyone who's in the chat. We thank everyone who's watching live and commenting. We also thank everyone who's watching this on the recorded version on our feed. We appreciate you all. Davey in the house, the bad guy. John K. in the house says last night was insanity. See, we can do it all. We can come back just like the Niners did to us. And that's exactly what Brad Holmes said, John. I think, were you quoting him or was Dan Campbell quoting the bad guy? That's what I want to know. Jordan Miho in the comments says, happy Victory Monday, y'all. At least memes in the house, the best Victory Monday yet. It's a great day to be a Lions fan. Yes, it is. It's a great time in history to be a Lions fan. There's never been anything like this in my lifetime. Okay, in the Super Bowl area, certainly there's not been anything like this. A chapter in Detroit Lions history where we're favored in every game, where we're coming back from 17 points down in the second half to win a game, to go to 8-1, to be the number one seed in the NFC? No, definitely not the same old Lions. Somebody suggested to me today that we hold a funeral for SOL. You can't hold a funeral for somebody who's already buried and dead. Sorry, I can't do it. Jennifer Shred in the house today. Welcome to the program, Jennifer. Joseph in the comments. Game was nuts. How about the timeout at the end? What the hell are the refs doing? Yeah, did you see Dan Campbell get all red-assed about that? I never called timeout. What are you doing? I never called timeout. They called timeout with 6 seconds left. He still had an extra 2 seconds he could have squeezed out of there. There was a 4-second differential between the game clock and the play clock. So he essentially had to call the timeout with 4 seconds left. Otherwise, he'd been looking at another 5-yard penalty for delay of game. So I think the refs were actually kind of nice to Dan Campbell in that situation where they said, okay, Dan, we're going to give you the 2 seconds. And they reset the clock to 4 seconds. And we know what happened after that. Jake Bates with ice water in his veins remains perfect on the year for field goals to drill the game winner. Jordan says James Houston was the most relatable man on the field after watching the ending and seeing Bates kick both the tying and winning field goal. We were all sitting in Gatorade. Yeah. Do they make brown Gatorade? I don't think they make brown Gatorade. I don't think they make that. Is that chocolate Gatorade? I've never tasted chocolate Gatorade. But I love the comment, Jordan. He says the most relatable man on the field. I thought at first it was a typo, but no, it's not. I think we can all relate to that. The way James Houston was feeling. James Houston did come out, though, and say, if you don't know what we're talking about, James, there's a picture going around the internet with James Houston with a big brown stain on the rear end of his pants. And a lot of people calling him out for, gosh, dare I say, can I say shark on the air? Can we say shark? I think he's shark. He may have started in the game last night. We do know that he was battling an illness, so maybe diarrhea was included in that illness. Let's change the subject, for God's sake. He put out a tweet at any rate. At any rate, he put out a tweet to say, "Hey, y'all, calm down. I sat in some Gatorade." So, I don't do all this crazy stuff here by myself on the Main Event Football Show. I do it also with my partner in crime, our illustrious producer, who's behind the glass today. Please welcome to the program, Russell Wayne.
Hey, all right.
Hey, Russ.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? So, okay, and in case you don't know, on Thursdays, we do our prediction show at 10 a.m. on the Villain Report at 10 a.m. with Russell Wayne. He's on Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. And I come on the show on Thursdays and we do predictions. And Russ always out predicts me. This week, you didn't have a great week, though, Russ. You went 7 and 6. So you went 7 out of 13. One of the games you lost was you took the Lions. The Lions only won by 3, and the line was 3.5. So sorry about your luck there. I took Houston in the points, so I got the best of both worlds. I won the bet, and the Lions won. So I love that. But you went 7 and 6. I went a dismal 5 and 8 in my predictions. But we both nailed our lock picks. Your lock pick, you had Tampa Bay against San Francisco, and you were getting 6 points. And San Francisco only won by 3, so you won that. Runs your lock pick record for the season to 7 and 3. That's pretty damn good. I also ran my lock pick record to 6 and 4 this week because I took New England against the Bears. And I made that my lock pick. Money in the bank, baby. New England beat the Bears outright 19-3. Bears seem to be in free fall. Their schedule is absolutely brutal moving forward. They got to face the Packers twice. They got to face the Lions twice, and then they get San Francisco. I think some other really hard games in there. And they needed to beat New England, and they couldn't. Drops their record now to 4 and 5, and they are not looking good for this playoff picture that we're going to look at later in this program. Right. So another hot topic I want to talk about was Zadarius Smith, the newest Lion. On Friday, after his first practice as a Lion, he went on. He was in the locker room and he met with some media from Detroit, and he answered questions for the first time about the trade. And when asked about the trade, Zadarius gave thanks to the general manager of the Cleveland Browns for giving him, quote, a chance to go do something great. I love that. I love that answer. He knows what's at stake here. He knows what he's dropping into, a chance to do something great with this team. And he was on the sidelines yesterday. He didn't get to suit up and play like many were hoping that he would, but he was on the sideline. He was coaching up the young guys, standing there with the iPad, showing them things, giving them pointers, and, being a positive force on the sideline for this team, trying to help the team in any way that he can. I think that's awesome. With his big old smile like Rasheed Wallace, I think he's going to be a piece that really fits in here. And I think he could be the piece that pushes us over the hump, just like Rasheed Wallace was for those Detroit Pistons in 2004. Just like Mark Aguirre was for the late 80s Bad Boys in the Pistons. These late season additions, these free agent additions that are good in the locker room, good on the playing field, and just good all around for your team. I think Zadarius Smith could be that guy. If he can bring the pressure and he can get the sacks, he averaged 8.4 sacks a season for his career. If he can bring that production to us, he's already got 5 this year. So if he could bring us another 5 down the stretch, that's going to be huge for this defense. Lions defense last night gets 4 sacks. Definitely a product of the stunts and the schemes that Aaron Glenn was dialing up. He was bringing pressure with the safeties. He was bringing pressure with the linebackers. He was rotating defensive linemen in and out, running stunts. And in the second half, he made some adjustments that allowed us to get to C.J. Stroud and stop them on third down. For the game, Houston was 6 of 15 on third down, while the Lions were 7 of 12. But in the second half, we shut them out on third down. I think they converted 1 third down in the second half. So most of those most of those conversions you see in that stat came in the first half. I want you to put it in the comments. Tell me what you think about Zadarius Smith coming to the Lions. Before we jump into the comments on that, Russ, I'll ask you, did you see the interview with Zadarius Smith? Did you see him on the sidelines last night? And do you think that matters?
I think it does. I mean, he's got that. I mean, I think it's so funny because he's got that Rasheed Wallace personality too. And I think that it's cool that the coaching staff, the Dan Campbell, they are the ones that told him to sit down. Like it's like, you don't think that he wanted to play? He wanted to play, but no. Let's give you that bye week. I thought that's a really cool gesture right off the bat. He's got some stuff going on at his house in Florida. He's got some other things that he was worrying about. So now this way he gets to go into practice and get the whole full week of the game plan and the whole nine. And I think he's going to flourish here because I know he had Myles Garrett over there in Cleveland, and I know that he draws a double team, but we draw double teams from the center, from the defensive tackle position. DJ Reader demands a double team. He demands you to draw attention to him along with Aleem McNeil. And every defensive end that's played for the Lions this year has had one-on-one opportunities like you would never get anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And that is what Zadarius Smith is going to get here. Mm-hmm. I think that he's going to get more of those opportunities here than he ever got in any other place that he's been at. He's going to get to run against a one-on-one, and I think that he's going to have himself a couple games here, and it's going to be a very, very good thing. So that's another Zadarius Smith.
And like you alluded to, after the game, the announcers were interviewing Zadarius Smith, and he said, and he tweeted out after the game, and this is a quote from his tweet that says, "Great team win. I can't wait." And we saw, like you alluded to, Russ, in the post-game interview with the announcers, he alluded to what you said, how he wanted to play, but Dan Campbell made him take the time off because, and this is something that Zadarius alluded to, Dan Campbell, former player, he knows how important that bye week is. He knows what it means to your body, what it means to your personal life and the things you've got going on. And he insisted that Zadarius Smith take that time off. But we do expect to see him back next week. The question is, will he start? Will they start him right away, or will they move him in a rotation and kind of ease him into it? What do you think, Russ?
It's a rotation. I mean, they're going to have a package of plays that feature what he does good. That's the difference. That like Aaron Glenn is looking at the best things that Zadarius Smith does, and he's looking to design plays and pressure packages that go with the strengths that go into that. And I think that coaching wise, it's just a weapon for Aaron Glenn just to move anywhere that he wants to, and he's a leader. You could tell that he's a leader. He went over on the sideline and he was coaching some of the guys on the sideline during that game. And and what do you think that does, him not being in the game and him being able to watch the way that we play and being like, oh, yeah, I could get right in there. I can use that. So I think that it was like a level up from game tape, It's the next level to get. You know how it is. We can go practice the basement playing the guitar all day, but there ain't nothing like going out and playing in front of a bunch of drunk people and getting it done.
But the crux of my question, I mean, does it mean something that instead of being in some press box or down on some beach enjoying his time off, he chose to be right there on the sideline, not just to rah-rah, but to actually help the young guys and be involved and get a feel? That was the crux of my original question. Do you think that means anything to the players or in the grand scheme of things?
Did we just become best friends? Like it's a perfect fit. I mean, it's like that we just became best friends instantly.
After Bates kicks this field goal, let's go in the garage and do some karate.
Let's go do that.
You've had enough of that shit.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
so, So great teammate, a new guy coming in. I cannot wait to see him on the field. I wish Hutchinson hadn't got hurt. It would really, truly be special then. It does beg the question is, would they have brought Zadarius Smith in if Hutch hadn't gone down? I still think they were on the lookout for edge help.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Yes.
after Davenport went down, they were absolutely on the look. But there's a lot of people out there saying that he wouldn't even be here if Hutch hadn't got hurt. I don't necessarily agree.
That's not true. It's a 2-year deal, guys. I mean, we got him for 2 years for a bag of chips. Oh no, we don't want a really awesome pass rusher for $600,000 and $1 million next year. No, we don't want that. That'd be dumb.
I'm not paying $600,000.
I mean, Cleveland's paying for his whole damn salary. They've already paid him all his money. We don't even know. We don't even have to keep him after this year. We could pay him the $600,000 and be like, yeah, meh.
So,
and it,
go ahead.
Rental. But it won't be that.
So we gave up a 5th-round pick to get him. We gave up our 6th-round pick to get Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's now gone and cut from the team. We traded back to the Eagles to draft Sion Vaki. We traded a 4th-round pick. So here's what we have left in the upcoming 2025 draft. The Detroit Lions have a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. Plenty. That's 4 picks. I don't think there are 4 open slots on this roster. So who are you going to draft? Who are you going to bump off this team to bring in those 4 players? So that's what I'm proposing to the villains today. Who's on the hot seat at the end of this season? Who is expendable that you can bring in a new guy that's going to supplant him? I mean, it's such a tough question. I don't even have a prepared answer for you. So I'd be interested to kind of riff off what you guys put in the comments on that one. Let's go to those comments right now and see what we have on the Zadarius Smith. Elise says, loving Zadarius in his interviews. He seems like an amazing teammate for Detroit. Can't argue with that at all. Joseph, the Bears chat, all calling for Ben Johnson. I was saying, no way Johnson comes to Chicago.
No way.
I don't know. That's a great, interesting point. Where would you rather go? First of all, what teams are going to have coaching openings? Possibly Philadelphia. If they don't make it to at least the title game, Sirianni could be gone.
Can I address Dallas before we get into realistic things here? I know that you're about ready to say some real legitimate teams that Ben Johnson might go to. Hey, Chicago, what are you smoking? Ben Johnson clearly came out and said last year that he's got to go to the right situation where he can do some things. That your whole organization is a dumpster fire there. That's why Caleb Williams is not succeeding there. It ain't because he ain't a good quarterback. It's because you got trash coaching, you got trash management, you're not managing your football team right, and you think Ben Johnson wants to go there?
I disagree. I love your take, but I disagree with it 100%. I think Ryan Pohl's doing a great job. I think that Caleb Williams has all the skill set you're looking for. He's going to be a good quarterback in this league. They've already won as many games as they did last year. Okay, they're already looking pretty good. I think for the few, they're not going to do anything this year, but I think the foundation is being laid. They may, in Bears fashion, fire their coach, and then Caleb Williams has to start all over again. But I also agree with you, Russ, that Ben Johnson, I don't think he would take the Chicago job. It's not the ideal fit for him. And I realize that that's what your point is. So let's look at that now here, just in the NFC. Sirianni in Philadelphia, possibly be on the hot seat. If he doesn't make it to at least the title game, they'll probably get rid of him simply based on the amount of talent that Howie Roseman has assembled on their roster. Dan Quinn in Washington, not going anywhere. He's turned the franchise around. Mike McCarthy in Dallas, you might as well just send him packing now because he's gone. He is gone. After the comments that Micah Parsons made yesterday, that Mike McCarthy can go anywhere he wants, quote. He also said that guys like Zach Martin, who've played and put in a lot more for this organization than Mike McCarthy ever has. Wow, you're trashing the coach? Even after he's won 12 games last year, and you guys folded in the playoffs. So Mike McCarthy, a damn good coach. I hate to break it to you, Dallas fans. He's a damn good coach. Your owner didn't do a damn thing in the offseason. That's why your team sucks. You let Tony Pollard go. You let Amari Cooper go. You let all these players go, and you didn't replenish them. You didn't bring anyone back. And you just expect CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott to do it all by themselves. So, yeah, Mike McCarthy gone. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'd rather have the Dallas job than Chicago.
Dallas.
But do I want to work for a nutcase like Jerry Jones? Or GM Ryan Poles seems like a much more level-headed, smarter guy to me than Jerry Jones. I think I even like the Chicago gig better than Dallas in that respect. Finishing out that division, Brian Daboll at the Giants, they're blaming everything on the quarterback and ownership and GM. Brian Daboll is going to be safe. He's not going to be looking for a job. He's only 2 years removed from Coach of the Year. We move out to the West, Arizona Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon turning that around. He's not going anywhere. Shanahan of Frisco not going anywhere. McVay's staying home. Mike McDonald in Seattle. He might not last another year, but they're not going to get rid of him after only one season. So none of those jobs really available. In the South, Atlanta, Raheem Morris turned around the Atlanta Falcons. Todd Bowles is a plant there in Tampa. He's not going anywhere. Dennis Allen's already been fired. Darren Rizzi, the interim coach, won his first game yesterday, and this guy is awesome. This guy's the best interview I've ever seen behind Dan Campbell. Okay, this guy has the fan base energized, and they actually won a football game yesterday. So Rizzi could get that job, or that could be an opening, a potential job for Ben Johnson. I don't like New Orleans there. Derek Carr, they pay him way too much money. He's under 50. He's 15 games under 500 for his career for Derek Carr. Is that worth $50 million? I don't think so. I don't like that situation. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'd stay away from that as well. And then, of course, Carolina, who just won 2 in a row now. They've got 3 wins for the season. Dave Canal is doing good work. Probably not going to get rid of him. No coaches in the AFC North openings. None. In the East, Mike McDaniel, probably not going to get fired. Gerard Mayo, certainly not going to get fired. McDermott in Buffalo, maybe. If you get a chance to go to Buffalo and have Josh Allen, I think Ben Johnson would jump at that. That's a possibility. The New York Jets, folks. That's the gig right there for Ben Johnson. They got a great defense, got a great running back. They got an all-star wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. A lot of tools there, a lot of weapons there for Ben Johnson to. There it is. You heard it right here. Main event, Mike. I think Ben Johnson gets the job in New York for the Jets next year. None of these other jobs appeal to me. What do you think of that take, Russ?
I like the Jets take. I was waiting to jump in. That's would be my guess too. I don't think he'll take the Dallas job. Why would he want to work for Jerry Jones? What a dumbass. Everybody starts signing their quarterbacks. You string your quarterback along, and then you wait for 5 other quarterbacks to get paid, and then you got to pay the top market value. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. You wait for a whole train to go by, and you pay top dollar. Okay, now you got 2 guys that you're paying all your money to. Why would Ben Johnson want to go to a cap upside down world like that? Now, the Aaron Rodgers, you just got to wait for him to get out of there. Really. And I think what Ben Johnson wants more than anything, he don't want to work with Josh Allen. He wants to get his own quarterback. If he's going to go to a place, they want a quarterback. Ben Johnson is going to get the quarterback that he wants and develop that quarterback. But, he could take the New York job with Aaron Rodgers being there, and then they would pick a quarterback that he could groom behind Aaron Rodgers. Oh, shoot. We don't want to go there just in case Rodgers wants to get extended till he's 60.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is going to count $46 million in dead cap money against the cap next year. So the franchise is hamstrung, no doubt about it. And we already know from his negotiations last year that Ben Johnson's going to want a boat. He's going to want a bag to leave Detroit. We're talking $15 million a year. Well, New York can afford it. The Jets can afford that. Woody Johnson's got deep pockets. He can afford that. And if that's the guy he wants, he'll pay it. He'll pay it, and I guarantee there will be a new general manager in the fold as well. I think if I'm Ben Johnson, that's the job I want. Harpazzo says, nope, Ben Johnson ain't going nowhere. Well, that sounds good, man.
What if that? I mean, what if the craziest thing happens and Ben Johnson goes through, and then we hear this in the offseason? Ben Johnson signs a 4-year offensive coordinator deal with the Detroit Lions because he just wants to stay. Just because he likes it that his family's here. He likes it that they didn't have to get up and move. He likes the guys. He's going to work with the same cast.
It's interesting that the teams do not have to disclose contract details of assistant and coordinators and coaches, of the assistant coaches and coordinators. So we don't even know what Ben makes now. We don't know. I mean, a lot of Lions fans, a lot of villains in the comment thinking that he's not going anywhere. But obviously, if the right situation came, how could you not? All right? Sure. You're a coach.
How old is Ben?
Ben is 34, I believe.
34,
35. Yeah, he's a young guy.
35. Like these head coaching jobs, all this stuff that we're talking about now, you don't think we'll be talking about it when he's 39? You don't think, it's like he's.
That's a great point.
I mean,
that's a great point, but we are seeing a turn towards younger coaches. Ever since Sean McVay won a Super Bowl, we've seen them going for younger coaches. Age really isn't even an issue anymore. Did you see the offensive coordinator last night for Houston? That guy looked like he couldn't even grow a mustache. Bobby Slowick?
No,
looked like he couldn't even grow a mustache. So
Ben knows that, Mike. I mean, he knows that it's hard to succeed as a coach in the NFL. And when he said that he needs the settings to be perfect, I think that he means that. He wants to go into a perfect situation where he has a really good chance to succeed. And if he's got to do any tearing down and building when he gets there, I don't think that he wants to be involved in anything like that. And he's got comfortability here. He's got he can build a legacy as an offensive coordinator, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays just for that reason, because why wouldn't you want to? I mean, Dan Campbell's one of the best leaders of men, just in general. I mean, the way that they're developing coaches, the way that all of these guys, and if Ben Johnson leaves, that's fine. Scotty Montgomery will take over as offensive coordinator, and then somebody else will get promoted into that spot, because I believe in we're in the up system, right? Mm-hmm. When Aaron Glenn leaves, it's probably going to be Terrell Williams or it's going to be Kelvin Shepard. Mm-hmm. We're not going outside. We're not going outside. We're developing these guys. We want them to get promotions. What happens if Kelvin Shepard, like Aaron Glenn, leaves and gets a head coaching job, right? Kelvin Shepard steps in and becomes a defensive coordinator. Do we get 2 compensatory draft picks because we promoted 2 guys?
I believe we would. I believe we would, because Aaron Glenn would get a head coaching job, which is a step up.
Yep.
And the other guy would get Kelvin Shepard would get a step up. We would get another compensatory pick for that as well.
So when that type of stuff starts kicking in, Lion fan out there, just remember, that's next level. This is something that had to be cultivated and built over the entire 4 years to even start the process of being able to promote coaches from within and take advantage of those compensatory draft picks. Because, I mean, the good ones are going to be 3rd round picks, Mike.
Right. And Ben Johnson last year, he said in his own words, you see what happens out here is these guys take head coaching jobs, things don't work out after 2 or 3 years, and they're out of a job. That's exactly what he said. He doesn't want to put himself in that position, and none of those jobs out there appealed to him enough to take that risk. Because let's face it, when you're a first-year head coach, you're going to take your lumps, right? There's a learning curve involved. No matter how much coordinator you've been or how many great coaches you've been around, as a first-time head coach, there are certain, avenues that you have not traversed yet that you have to take your lumps. And he needs to get in, and he said this as much, that he needs to get into a situation where everything is lined up, everything is right for him to succeed. And right now, I do see a couple of jobs out there that look like good fits for that, but there aren't a lot. There aren't as many as there were last year, I don't think. I think the head coaching jobs vacancies are going to be few and far between this offseason. But I think Dallas and the Jets are definitely two of them. And whether or not Eberflus gets fired, I don't even think Chicago's in the running for it. You are watching the Main Event Football Show on the Villain Squad Network, which is brought to you by NFLShop.com. The Villain Squad Network is an official marketing partner of Villain Squad of NFLShop.com. Christmas is coming. That Lions fan, that Bears fan on your list, that football fan on your list, scan the code or click the link that's in the comments or right there on your screen. Click that link and use our code. It helps us a little bit, not a lot. I'm not going to buy Lamborghinis if you do it, but it's going to help us a little bit. And you can save 25% off by using our link. It's a little perk that they give us for being an affiliate marketing partner. And we want you to use that so we can help our page and we can help you get that perfect NFL swag gift that you're planning on buying anyway. So use our link to buy it. All right. What else we got here in the comments? We got Roy Bradow in. Roy is in there. What a game. So glad I didn't turn it off. No kidding. Harpazzo says as soon as Ben Johnson can't grow with the team, then he will leave. But Dan allows him to do Ben Johnson things. That's a great point right there. He has freedom, right? He has freedom. And he always seems to be smiling and he always seems to be happy. And the culture that Dan Campbell has bred in the locker room, he's a big part of it. And I agree with Russell. Maybe he won't leave. Maybe it's so good being the offensive coordinator of this team that why would I want to leave? Especially if they win a Super Bowl. If they win a Super Bowl, then would you leave? Or if you just make it to the Super Bowl and lose, then would you leave? What would it take for Ben Johnson to leave?
Goff signed. When's Goff signed through? What is it?
27.
27? I mean, it just wouldn't surprise. And it's probably just a pipe dream. Maybe I'm just, being a homer by thinking like this. But it wouldn't surprise me if he was just going to sign a contract that went right along with Jared Goff's contract. Because they did it together. They built it together. I remember in 2021 being on shows like and getting trashed on Packer shows by whatever. It's like, but I think that he wants to be here with Jared Goff. They wrote the Goff-fence, from the first year. It was something that we were made fun of for. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, like you want to write an offense with Jared Goff, whatever. And we call it the Goff-fence and, a throwback to the old Cal days because I know that they used to call it the Goff-fence when he played at Cal.
It reminds me of Charlie Weiss is what it reminds me of. Charlie Weiss with the Patriots as an offensive coordinator with Bill Belichick running the defense and Weiss running the offense. And they're winning Super Bowls. And every year they'd knock on the door for Charlie to be a head coach. And he just stayed there in New England, win another Super Bowl till finally he did leave. And then it wasn't long. He was out of coaching completely. It just fizzled for him after being the coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So I think it's a lesson there. It's a trap that you could fall into. Not everybody's cut out to be a head coach. Maybe he's super content being a coordinator. He's damn good at it. And maybe he could be part of something special, like John Kapler's saying here in his take. If you're on this team, you want to be a part of the highest of highs. People want to come here and stay here, not leave. Money or be a legend. Then get money once, or you're part of multiple Super Bowls as a Lion. Great call out, John. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, there's a lot of appeal to stay right where he's at. So...
And you even said that you had a lot of envy for the old Pittsburgh Steelers from the 70s, and you like that type of thing. And part of the reason the Rooney's been so successful is in the 70s, all of those guys did stay together. It's like, hell, we got the steel curtain defense. We got let's just run this back. Let's run this back. Run this back. And the Lions actually have that opportunity. I always bring this up with the over the cap here, but this just lets we got next year, we got 41 guys under contract. So it's like you said, like, where are these guys going to go? And that's like, we could re-sign, 10 of those guys like Zeitler and Carlton Davis. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that they might just bring back, and, guys that were finishing up their rookie contracts,
right,
and everything. So there might be
man roster, 41 of them are under contract. That leaves 12 open spots, and some of those could be re-signed, like Zeitler, like you said. So, yeah, that's such a great point. There's no room on
how many people? I mean, like you said, I mean, we got all those draft pick. Are they all vying? They're vying for roster spots, even if you draft them in the first round. Like, I know that you don't want to throw a first rounder away, and it probably wouldn't do that, but it's like there's gonna be some tough roster stuff going on because he's built such a strong roster. So, and they didn't give up a first round pick like we were talking. Oh, let's go get Myles Garrett. But the thing is like we are in an F them picks type of mode right now. It's like, what are we gonna do? Don't be surprised if when they do get to that point that they trade some of those other picks to get up to get like one certain guy. I think they're gonna be looking for individuals now. Skill sets.
We got a call in the comments here about any injuries last night. I know Laporta left with a shoulder.
Yep.
Arpazzo says, does anyone know if JMO got injured? I think JMO just got the wind knocked out of him. He took a nice smack right in the middle of the back last night, and he was down for a minute, limped over to the sidelines, but he was back out there at the end of the game. So I think he's going to be okay, but I don't know for sure. There was nothing in the post-game press conference or in the press conference today where they indicated we had anybody hurt. In fact, the good news is, like, throw that graphic back up there, brother. Yeah, we are getting guys back like Emmanuel Mosley, Ifeatu Melifonwu, coming back to this defense.
Yeah, possibly. Like the 21, I mean, they may go through the whole thing. One person is Broderick Martin. I think that he's only got a couple days left on his window, so they're going to put him on the active roster here with either this week or the following week. So, like you said, yeah, we're getting more people back. And I'll tell you what, if Laporta's shoulder is sore, I mean, we got Brock Wright, we got Shane Zoster, we got other guys that can fill in for the week. Let these guys, get their rest. It's a long season, man. There's still what 8 more games left. So, I mean, it's a long season, and we've actually overcame already. We're at a point right now where we're halfway through the season, and we've lost like our top 3 pass rushers, and we didn't have Decker this week, we didn't have Branch last week, and all these different injuries, and Lions just keep winning. I don't care. It's like what happens when we're at full strength? Well,
can you hear that train in the background?
I heard something in there.
That's Montgomery coming down the track. So like you said, there are 9 more games to play, or
9. Okay. Yes.
8. No, that's not right. We're 8-1. That's 9. So there are 8 games to play.
8 games.
There are
left.
8 games to play. And the next game is next week at Ford Field against the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-8, despite having a nice looking roster, a decent coach, a good owner. They got everything. They got a $55 million quarterback, a good running back in Travis Etienne, some talented wide receivers, an excellent tight end. What's going on with these Jaguars? They're 2-8. They've lost to every team in the NFC North so far. Even the Bears beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, the Detroit Lions are favored by 13. That's the opening line. Lions by 13, Russ. There's also a game tonight, folks. That is the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams -1. So the Rams are at home, and they are giving up a point to the Dolphins coming in. Jalen Ramsey's homecoming. And Russ and I are going to pick that game before we sign off tonight. But the Jaguars, what is wrong with the Jags? 2-8. And they're going to come into Ford Field. I feel sorry for them having to come into Ford Field now, after we played our worst game of the season. Mm-hmm. And something you said this morning on the Villain Report, Russ, that I absolutely loved was, yeah, we won, but we're going to be coached this week like we lost. the way those first 2 quarters went last night, there's a lot to clean up, and the coach's staff is going to be on this Detroit Lions team this week at practice. And I firmly believe they're going to come out and put a hurting on the Jaguars. Do you think 13 points is enough? Even though you'll make your official prediction on Thursday, Russ, do you think 13 is enough points for Jacksonville?
No. And I'll tell you why, is because of a lot of these things. Like, you haven't seen this defense with Zadarius Smith, and I think they're going to put him in advantageous spots. I'm going to predict right now that Zadarius Smith is going to debut with 2 or more sacks in this game. Mac Jones is probably going to be the starting quarterback. I think that we're going to get some type of defensive touchdown. We're probably going to create some turnovers with that, create a lot of that confusion. And another prediction is I think that Jared Goff will throw for 4+ touchdowns and redeem last week's awful performance, because that's what people are going to talk about this week, is how bad Jared Goff was. He threw 5 interceptions. The team carried him and everything. And I think that this is a perfect spot for Jared Goff to have a bounce back game against trash defense like Jacksonville, that they can just expose and just run all over or do whatever they want to. So no, 13's not enough. But I don't know. I still might take Jacksonville on the points when we get to the smart picking.
Right. There are a lot of things that can develop between now and Thursday. As you said, it will probably be Mac Jones because Trevor Lawrence with a non-throwing shoulder injury, and he sat out this week. And they lost to the Vikings, who beat them 12-7, never had to score a touchdown. Sam Darnold with 3 picks, and Darnold was pissed about it too. Darnold had this to say about it. Oh, okay. I guess he didn't. What did Darnold Schwarzenegger have to say about it?
Oh, you wanted him to give that? What do you mean 3 picks? They were obviously holding my wide receivers. You need to open your eyes. Come on. Can't you see that I'm throwing perfect balls?
I'm going to go back and save James Conner.
You should have traded for John Connor. John Connor could be running the football, and we could be getting first downs and touchdowns, and we need to score more touchdowns.
Oh, it's classic. Absolutely classic.
Touchdown.
So, yeah. Jacksonville's on the docket next week. We will be making our predictions on Thursday on the Villain Report. Last topic I want to talk about tonight. There's some chatter out there on the internet about a 5-interception game that Goff had last night takes him out of contention for the MVP conversation. And before that ever happened, and it was all over the internet this morning, I asked Russell Wayne last night in the Lions Den the same question. And Russ, I've been chewing on it ever since, and your answer is the 100% right answer. And that is, Goff was never in the MVP conversation. It's only Lions fans that were making that kind of talk. When you look around the league and they're going, well, Jared Goff has to get serious consideration for MVP. Sure he does, because he had a historic span of completion percentage, of touchdowns to no interception ratio. He had a historic run of a 6-game run that no quarterback in QBR rating has ever duplicated. However, he was still far behind Lamar Jackson, still far behind Josh Allen. Let me read the numbers to you here. Lamar Jackson currently, these are his statistics. Well, let's give you Goff's first. Goff, 2,080 yards after 9 games, 16 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Before last night, that was only 4 interceptions, and that looked a lot better on paper. But now it's 16 touchdowns to 9 interceptions and an overall passer rating of 104.4. Lamar Jackson, 2,669 yards, 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, overall passer rating for the season of 123.2. That will go, if that stands, that'll go down as the single highest season passer rating in NFL history. By the way, he's also rushed for 538 yards and a few touchdowns on top of that. And we're not even figuring that into the equation with Goff, right? Because it's a non-stat. So Lamar, miles in front of Goff. And Goff not even second in the conversation when you look at the numbers. Josh Allen's only got 2 losses on his record. He's thrown for 2,281 yards. Both of those more than Goff, by the way. 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, a passer rating of 100.9. But guess what? He's also got 261 rushing yards and a handful of touchdowns rushing the ball as well. So both of these players already way out in front of Jared Goff for MVP consideration. And then when you think about Jaden Daniels, what he's done as a rookie. No rookie's ever won MVP since Jim Brown. And Jaden Daniels might be further in the conversation if the numbers weren't there with Lamar and Josh that I just told you about. But his numbers are super impressive. But that guy's a distant 4th even. Right now, this is a 2-horse race between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I don't care how many games the Chiefs win. If Patrick Mahomes' numbers keep looking the way they are, he won't even be in consideration for MVP. It's a 2-horse race right now between Lamar and Josh Allen. And barring any injuries, I foresee it being that way all the way to the end. So let's just put that out right now. Did the 5 INTs rule him out of MVP? 100% it ruled him out. But I don't think he was ever really in the conversation at this point of the season. Finally, trying to make our pick for this Monday night game, which kicks off here in about 20-25 minutes. The Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams -1. I am going to take the Los Angeles Rams -1. I was 5-8, so no matter what you pick, Russ, you are still going to beat me for the week on your picks. Who do you like? Rams -1 at home against the Fish.
Well, you made a good pick there, so I'm gonna ride with you again, Mike. I know that you said I lost out by riding with you a little bit. I think that the Rams are going to win this game, and I mean, unless they just that offense all of a sudden just explodes or something like that. But Miami hasn't really shown that, and really feels like the Rams are ascending.
And the Rams in a division where anyone can win it. They're sitting at 4-4. The division leader is Arizona at 6-4. They are in the thick of it. However, the Fish are out of it already. The Jets and the Fish are out of it. The Patriots are out of it. That's Josh Allen and the Bills. This is their division. Nobody can take it. You might as well just hand them the division crown right now, because there's nobody in that division to contend with Buffalo.
I actually fear for the Tua in this game, just because Jared Verse is having himself. He might be the front runner for defensive rookie of the year. Jared Verse, really, really good player that they got there. But I hope that Tua. Oh God, I don't know if I can watch him play anymore, even though I have him in my fantasy lineup.
Yeah, and you're right. Jared Verse having a really great rookie season, along with Braden Fisk, the 2 defensive players from Florida State that they drafted. They're turning out to be beasts. Turned out to be 2 really good draft picks. Really hard for me though to go over Quinyon Mitchell for defensive rookie of the year. The way he's playing in Philadelphia right now, and Cooper DeJean also playing great in Philadelphia. Philly is the team that worries me. They've now taken control of the division. They're sitting at 7-2. Washington Commanders sitting at 7-3. They face off against each other on Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a huge game. We're all rooting for the Redskins. The Commanders. Sorry. And one thing that is really interesting, if the playoffs were tonight, if they ended today, if the season ended today, Detroit would be the 1 seed, Philly would be the 2 seed. The Atlanta Falcons would be the 3 seed. The Arizona Cardinals would be the 4 seed. The 5th seed would be the Minnesota Vikings. And the 6th seed would be the Washington Commanders. And the last team to get into the playoffs with the 7th seed, the Green Bay Packers. That would be 3 teams from the NFC North making it into the playoffs. And that means San Francisco would be out. We wouldn't have to worry about them. Philadelphia would be, in my opinion, the biggest hurdle for the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl. And by the way, if it does play out that way, all roads run through Detroit to get there, by the way.
You've had enough
San
of that
Francisco
shit.
won a tough game yesterday. They're 5-4. They're only a game back of the Cardinals. I don't think anybody really expects San Francisco to lose this division, though. I think they're going to come back hard now that Christian McCaffrey's back, and they're going to put a push at the end and win this division. But it is nice to look at after week 10 and look, if it ended today, the Niners would not be in it. Philadelphia at 7-2 is the 2 seed, and I see, even if Philadelphia doesn't win that division, if Washington does, I still see the Eagles as the biggest challenge for us. When you look at the depth and who they've got on their roster, that's the only team I can see coming into Ford Field and beating us. Don't forget. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Lions can beat anybody because
Absolutely.
they'll.
I'm not saying they would beat us. I'm just saying I think they would have the best chance when you look at matchup.
They have an NFL that everybody has an NFL chance against us. But I'm riding with the Lions probably with every point spread out, even if I lose, and I think I'm gonna come out ahead.
Right. Be sure to like and share, subscribe our content, keep the football content rolling. It helps us out a little bit. Hit that emoji on your way out the door today before I say a blessing for you and all of yours. Happy Veterans Day. Here at the Villain Squad, we have a deep, deep, serious respect for the men and women who serve in the military. And we're not just saying that as lip service. Russ and I, we show it every day. We mean it from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate your service. We appreciate all the men and women that give us the freedoms that we all enjoy. So on this Veterans Day, I will say to you, have a great week. Be sure to tune into the Villain Report Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. And I'll see you again 7 p.m. next Monday. And we're talking about a victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars. For Russell Wayne, I'm Main Event Mike saying God bless each and every one of you. One pride.
Your team feeds them. First and goal, Montgomery breaks a tackle, turning for the end zone, and a Lions touchdown. On first down, Jahmyr Gibbs with an opening, and Gibbs with great speed down the sideline.